Welcome to the faculty tutorial of Xchange. Xchange is a media asset management system for uploading, sharing, and analyzing clips. Think of it as a blackboard for media content. You as faculty will be able to access and grade students' content. In addition, you can upload media to share with your courses and to share with the Annenberg community. Google Chrome is the recommended web browser for Xchange. Glitches may occur in other web browsers. It is important to keep in mind that Xchange is not meant to be a backup system, and all your media should also be saved on your own external hard drive. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Xchange. So in order to get to Xchange, you have to type in mcweb.usc.edu. You must also be connected to USC Secure Wireless. If you're trying to access Xchange from home, like let's say you want to grade from home, you'll need to follow the VPN instructions. So if you go to annenbergdl.org, under Tutorials Xchange, you'll be able to find the Virtual Private Networking USC Annenberg workflow. From here, you can download the AnyConnect client, which will allow you to access USC Secure Wireless from home, and you can follow the instructions here or watch our screencast below. We have one for Mac and one for Windows. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sign into my account. So this is your dashboard, or as Xchange calls it, Explore. So if you ever get away from this screen, you can always go up to this icon and click Explore. So let's go ahead and go through what is going on in your left sidebar. So everything in Xchange is organized by smart bins. If you don't see your smart bins, go ahead and click on smart bins to bring it down. And the first folder that you have is My Media. So this includes any file that you ever upload in Xchange. And below that, you have all of the courses that you're teaching this semester. So for this account, I have CMGT 509 and COM 598. And if I go ahead and drop down this course, I'll see I have 3 spaces: student space, grading space, and local space. If I look under student space, I'll see every folder for each student that's in my course. And then I'll see grading space. So grading space is whenever a student uploads a submission, that will go into the grading space for that course. And so from here, you'll be able to comment on the video clips and make markers and subclips, and I'll go more over that later. So, and then the last space that you have is local space. So when you upload content as a faculty member, you can share it to the local space, and everyone in that class can see the files there. So if for instance, you want to play a video during class, you can upload it here and bring up Xchange. Or if you want the whole class to watch a certain video, you can place the file here and they can all access it. So the same goes for this folder. We still have the same folder structure. And then we have global space. So global space is shared with the entire Annenberg community. So you as a faculty member have the capability to share a file in the global space. And let's say you have an exceptional video that you really want to show off, you can mark it to be shared in the global space. And then there's live studio and outlets, and that doesn't really pertain to classes right now, so we'll move on. So next I'll show you how to upload media. So you want to go ahead and click on this little icon and go to Upload Manager. A new window will pop up, and you'll go ahead and select your destination. We'll go ahead and leave it as internal. Internal means it's for classes. Depending on your permissions, you might see other outlets like ATVN, ARN, Neon Tommy, Impact. But for now, we're just going to leave it as internal. It'll automatically say Upload Type Standard. We'll go ahead and find your file, so you go ahead and click Browse. Now it'll open this up, and you can find the file on your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and find the file that I want to upload. So Xchange is meant for videos and audio, but it accepts most common file types. So you can upload PDFs, you can upload documents, so your students can upload scripts if they need to with their videos. In terms of exporting their video content, they've been told to use Adobe Media Encoder and export it at the YouTube preset 720p. Again, on our website, you can find a tutorial under Tutorials Xchange, encoding media for Xchange with Adobe Media Encoder. So you can reference your students to do that because that's how they should export their videos. Okay, with that being said, my upload manager has gone behind my window, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it back. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a file name. So the students have been told to use a certain naming convention. We told them to use content type, content description. So for instance, they're uploading a rough cut of Obama speech, they would name it rough cut _ Obama speech. You don't need to include your name or the course number because when you upload, the file will be linked to your account and the chosen course bin, which I'm going to choose over here. So in our cases, I'm going to name this file Photoshop Man. Then I'm going to go ahead and give it a description. You want to add in as many details as possible in the description. It will come in handy if you ever need to search for your file, and it helps you organize your files. So this is for Adobe marketing footage. So you can write whatever you want here. It doesn't even have to be complete sentences. You can write, like, if you're writing like tags, you can say Adobe, Creative Cloud, you know, marketing footage, whatever you want to say, Photoshop, Blue Fur, things like that. And then I'll go ahead and select my course. So let's say I want to share this with my comm management class 509. I'll go ahead and select that course. So you'll notice that you have some extra options down here. You have that it's being shared to the local space, so that means all the students can see this file. And you can also select if you'd like to share it with the global space. But for now, I'm just gonna not share with global space. And that's all I need to do when I'm uploading a file. And then I'll go ahead and click Upload Media. It'll show up down here under the file upload history status. I'll see that it gets to 100%. You might need to click this refresh button, but once it says processing internally for Xchange, your file should be good and you can close this window. Keep in mind this may take a while depending on network traffic and the size of your file. So I'm going to go ahead and close this window now that my file is processing internally. Once it says ready in Xchange, then you should see it in your bin. So now if I go to the local space of 509, I'll see that my Photoshop Man file is there. Now I'm going to go over how to view your audio and video content. So let's say I want to watch this Photoshop Man video. I can go ahead and use this media player right here, and I can hit the play button.
This is Photoshop Man, recording outside the Ann School.
I can also use my spacebar to pause and play the video. I can use my right and left arrows on my keyboard to scrub through the video, as well as the buttons here if I wanted. I can change the quality of the video, so if I want to watch it at a higher streaming quality, I can click high, and the video looks better.
Nobody's downloaded Photoshop.
I can watch this video in full screen if I'd like by clicking on this button and take it back if I want. There's also a volume control here. And then the really cool thing about Xchange is that you can create markers and subclips. So I can scrub through. You'll notice that the time is right here. So if you have a time code for the clip, it'll show up here. Otherwise, it'll show the duration of the clip. So let's say I want to make a marker at this point. So I'll go ahead and hit the M, and that'll create a marker on this side. Or I can hit M on my keyboard. So you'll notice that for each file that you have these tabs next to it. You have info, audio, markers, and subclips. So anytime I create a marker, it's going to show up underneath the marker tab. I'll go ahead and click on my marker, and I'll give it a name. So let's say I want this to be question number 1. I can give it some notes. You'll notice that the name shows up here underneath the time. I'll say, you know, this is the first question at Photoshop. Yes. You can write whatever you want here. And so when you're grading files, this comes in handy because you can mark up the student's file and give them notes as you go through it. So let's go ahead and, so I can make another marker. It automatically saves, so you'll notice when I go back, it's all still there. If you ever want to delete a marker, you can hit the delete button. Now the other thing you can create is called subclips. So if I go ahead and use the brackets here, using that as the in marker and this as the out marker and hitting the S, if this happens, you can just move the subclip window out and away from the media player. We can go ahead and give this subclip a name, so let's just call it test 1, create subclip. So now you see your subclip will show underneath the subclips tab. I can also use, just like in Premiere, I and O for my in and out points. So I can use I right there and O right here, and then I can actually also use the keyboard shortcut S and go ahead and type in whatever I want here, create subclip. And just like markers, you can also give these some descriptions. So if you click edit, right here under description, you can type whatever you'd like to give them notes on their subclips, or if you want to point out something on the subclip. Once you're done, you go ahead and click close, and you can also download a subclip. So if you click on this little cloud, you can select the quality of that subclip and it'll download just that subclip. So I'll go ahead and show you. If I hit original and hit download, it'll render, and then it should download right there, and then it'll be in your downloads folder. You can also delete subclips by clicking on this little X right there. So you can go in here into your info palette and see all the information about the file. You'll see the description. If you click on this corner over here, you can drag down and see the entire description. There's a spot to leave faculty comments. I'll go over that when I talk about grading space. And you can also download the entire clip here. So again, this little cloud means download. You can select the quality of the clip, and you can download the media clip. And you can also download the Premiere XML file, which will take over all the markers and subclips and put them into Premiere. So now I'm going to go over the grading space. So anytime a student submits a file, it's going to show up here in your grading space. So I don't have anything in this folder, but I believe I have a file in this folder. So here's a file that a student has submitted to me. I can go ahead and watch it just like I showed you, and I can write some faculty comments on here. So you can go ahead and say, like, this video looks great. You know, you can give them some constructive feedback. I would work on that final scene. Whatever you want to write. And just remember that you can drag this little corner to make it bigger. I can, under content status, I can mark if I want them to re-edit or if I've approved the document. And then again, I can share it in global space, and I'm like, oh, I want to share this with the whole Annenberg community. But please keep in mind that your comments and your markers and your subclips are always tied to this file. So if you share it with everyone, then everyone will see the comments and the markers and the subclips. So let's say I've marked this all up as I have here, and I've added some subclips, and I've made my notes. Then I'm done grading it, and I've marked it approved. I can go ahead and sort of kick this back to the student. So what I'll do is, under content type, right now it's marked as a submission. I can go ahead and mark it as personal, and that means it'll remove it from my grading space, and they will be able to see all of the comments and the markers and the subclips. The weird thing about Xchange, keep in mind that it's sort of in beta right now, is that it looks like the file is still here. If I go ahead and click out of a bin and click back into a bin, it's gone out of my grading space, even though it still kind of looks like it's here. But if I go ahead and click out and click on a different file, it's gone and it's not in my grading space anymore. So yeah, so that's how you remove things from your grading space as you go. So, and the last thing that we need to cover is how to search through Xchange. So on this left hand side, you have a simple search and an advanced search. So if we go ahead and go in here, we can search Photoshop, and I can click go, and any file that I have access to that has Photoshop in it is going to pop up right here. And then there's also advanced search. You won't have to use this as much, but it allows you to search certain metadata fields if you'd like. Otherwise, I would just use simple search. It searches through name and both your description. And then as faculty member, the last thing that you need to know is that you can delete media. So if you wanted to delete this file, you can go ahead and select the file and hit delete media. Are you sure you would like to permanently delete this clip? You can click OK. Again, it looks like nothing happens. You're going to have to click out of the bin and click back in the bin to notice that that test file is gone. And so you'll notice here are some other common file types that you can put in here, but it doesn't give you the best preview. As I said before, Xchange is made for video and audio content. And that's everything you need to know for Xchange. If you need any further assistance, please stop by the Annenberg Digital Lounge, and also check out our website for more tutorials. We're always updating the site with new content. Thanks for watching the screencast.